Okay, let's dive right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at one of the most unbelievable true crime stories of the digital age, the rise, the fall, and the ultimate redemption of Kevin Mitnick. We're going to break down exactly how a regular kid from Los Angeles became the most famous and, for a time, literally the most hunted hacker in the entire world. And honestly, the craziest part of the whole shebang, his biggest weapon wasn't some massive supercomputer.
I mean, just look at this quote. When Kevin Mitnick was standing before a judge back in the late 1990s, a federal prosecutor actually looked the judge dead in the eye and claimed that if Mitnick was allowed anywhere near a telephone, he could literally whistle into the receiver and launch a nuclear missile. Right? It sounds absolutely absurd to us today. But back then, the legal system was deeply, deeply influenced by science fiction, specifically that 1980s movie, War Games. Because of all this Hollywood-fueled paranoia, the judge actually denied Mitnick bail and completely banned him from accessing any phones whatsoever.
So, that brings us to a really fascinating question. How exactly did a regular kid with a telephone become America's most dangerous hacker? Well, the answer is incredibly simple. See, this wasn't a story about a guy furiously typing millions of lines of complex computer code in some dark basement. Not at all. It was all about a total mastery of human manipulation. Mitnick realized super early on that, hey, you don't actually need to break the technology if you can just break the people operating it.
And the fear of what he could do to people and systems, it was so intense that Mitnick actually spent 8 months in solitary confinement. 8 months! And get this, it was based entirely on that completely sci-fi whistling myth we just talked about. The government was genuinely terrified that he was some kind of, digital wizard who could bring down the whole country with a corner payphone.
Which brings us to Section 1, Hacking the Analog 80s, before smartphones and Wi-Fi.
Now, what's really interesting here is the massive gap between expectation and reality. To really understand how he pulled this off, we kind of have to transport ourselves back to the analog 1980s. This is an era way, way before smartphones or the modern internet. On the left, you've got the classic Hollywood myth, right? Screens of glowing green codes, supercomputers, furious typing. But on the right, that is Mitnick's actual reality. He was just a polite guy on a telephone asking nicely for a password. He used plain, simple English to talk his way past security doors that literally cost millions of dollars to build.
His very first major exploit happened when he was just 12 years old, and it perfectly sets the stage for his entire career. Little Kevin just sat down next to a bus driver and politely claimed he needed a specific ticket punch for a quote-unquote school project. The completely unsuspecting driver told him exactly where to buy one. Then, Kevin just scavenged blank transfer slips right out of a dumpster, and just like that, he could ride Los Angeles buses entirely for free. The point here wasn't really about saving pocket change, though. It was about the sheer thrill of beating the system using nothing but simple everyday conversation.
By 1979, he was taking these conversation skills to a whole new level. Mitnick targeted a massive tech company called Digital Equipment Corporation, or DEEC. They had this highly secure system called the ARC. Now, instead of trying to crack the firewall with code, Mitnick just called up the system administrator. He pretended to be a frustrated lead developer named Anton Sharonov, claiming he couldn't log in. Just by sounding authoritative and kind of annoyed on the phone, the administrator instantly created a brand new account and password for him. Boom! Just like that, he was in.